Okay. Good. So yeah, let's talk about security in oracles, or security in general. Uh, why it is like basically the same as in oracles. So when it comes down to security, it's always about like securing your private key. Um, Basically in cryptocurrencies and the distributed systems that we're using, computers not hi guys. Computers not really understand, like they don't know who you are. Madi is trying to fix that with Bright Idea, but until we're there, computers don't really know who you are. And the only way to tell them who you are is through your private key. And that actually means that everyone that has your private key, and the same is true for oracles. So for example, in our in DEUS we use oracles and we use multiple of a magnitude of them, and in the contracts every oracle has an ID. Every oracle has an ID, and we know exactly how his priv key is looking. And when he is signing a price, we can either say the signer is a signer or he is not a signer, okay? So, and the same is true when you're transferring some Ethereum. You're signing a transaction with your private key, and then the blockchain knows you are the owner or you're not the owner. And that is basically where it comes down to privacy. Of course, in an oracle, you have the problem that the oracle needs to be online all the time. So uh, the private key is basically also exposed to the web all the time. So that's an issue that you have when you're talking about oracles. They have to be online all the time, but on the other side, the private key should not be um, accessible. So for you as a user, the best way to secure your assets is by only storing your private key offline. Basically, your private key never ever never ever actually touches the web. And the best way to do so, so the question is not, is MetaMask secure? Is uh, is Trust Wallet secure? Is the ledger secure? Is that secure? Is that secure? The actual question that you should ask yourself is my private key exposed to the web at any time? Is my private key at any time exposed to a device that was ever connected to the web before? And the answer to that, if there is an amount of money on your, like, even if it's only $1,000, okay? If the answer to that question is yes, you should immediately send all money out. Immediately. And there are some like ways how you could do that. Okay, there is like there is there's a hard way. Okay, for example, the hard way would be you have a machine, you have a device, okay, and it's not connected to the web. And then you're basically on that device, you're downloading that website, and then you're generating offline you're generating a seed, and from that seed you're generating a oops. From that seed you're generating a address, okay? And then you're basically writing all of those things down on a paper, and then you can basically send Ethereum to that. I would not even trust a printer. Better not. Maybe if you have some form of analog camera, could be possible, yeah. But in the end, you need to type that address. You need to type it. And then you can be sure that because or you can print it, like make it in a text file and then have a USB stick. But even then the USB stick could be compromised, okay? And even your keyboard could be compromised. So that is the hard way, okay? And the easy way is just by having a ledger, okay? Because the ledger is never connected to the internet, never. There's never an USB stick connected or a keyboard connected. So that is the best way to do it. So you should just always go with a ledger, and then you just connect your ledger to your MetaMask, and that's it. I think ledger is used more often. No, and look, brainless. What I just said is true for ledger, is true for Trezor. It is not. It doesn't matter if it's one over the other. It should just be an offline device. If you can basically build your own ledger if you're building something that is offline all the time. It doesn't matter if it's ledger or Trezor. But what matters if it's ledger or Trezor is how many projects are supporting ledger and how many projects are supporting Trezor, and there are more projects supporting ledger than there are projects supporting Trezor. So with your ledger you will have more access to more projects. That's the reason why ledger is maybe more interesting. So, but how can you do it now in a system where you have to be online all the time? Like for example with an Oracle. So as a user, it's basically a no-brainer. As a user, you're only using hardware wallets. Why should you ever do something else? If not for fun. But in an Oracle, you have a problem because it always needs to be online. So what you could do, for example, like with proof of stake, is like you have your stake on a offline, on a cold wallet, and your private key for signing is hot online. Okay, so basically there's this term cold or hot wallet. So, but there is still a problem. There's still the problem that even if your stake is secured because it's offline, the private key that actually signs the transaction, who will you be using as your oracle? What, Ridvan? What do you mean? We build our own oracles. That's what I'm just explaining. So you're having the issue that the private key that basically can do the harm is still exposed. It's still exposed. So what you basically need is you need a network of oracles. You can say, okay, even if we don't trust all oracles all the time, because maybe some private keys are compromised, we can still be sure that we at least trust one oracle. And then one oracle could basically say, okay, what the other oracles said is not true. And then basically the their stake and their operations get frozen until there's someone that can clear the dispute. So every oracle has basically the possibility to dispute. And then we are basically combining all of those efforts. You have a decentralized network. What I think only project that has really a decentralized network of oracles currently is Band protocol. So they are bound to the limits of the blockchain that they're using. They built their oracles on blockchain, on Cosmos. So they have like a confirmation time of I don't know, I think like 10 seconds in average, maybe 20. So, and that's how they are securing their claims by, okay, we have like a lot of, we sent we all agree on a price and we sent it to all the other nodes and then we're confirming it, and that's what takes time. So in in other in our example, we basically do it a little bit differently. So instead of um, and one thing, every app basically we make it app based. So every app can choose their customizations, their settings themselves. For example, in the test that we're currently running, for let's say we have 15 nodes, okay, and we say okay, we need a signature of 2 nodes, and that's how we managed 500 milliseconds in response time. And then afterwards, so basically they're signing the price and locking their stake. And afterwards we need 10 or 15 oracles saying, okay, the price was verified. This maybe takes like 15 seconds or maybe 30 seconds or maybe a minute. But until then, trading was already executed. Yeah. Of course, it's if you're disputing oracles and there was uh, nothing to dispute, you're also losing stake. So it makes no sense to um, dispute without a reason. So it's more like economically incentivized. Same as like in a in a normal blockchain, you have like a consensus of 51%, and it's economically not worth it to attack the network. Um, Same with, yeah, in our case, you have like the incentive of your stake being slashed if you're disputing. So the user, probably the end of COVID. So the user basically only has to wait that 5 milliseconds. Yes, exactly, Robster. That's the idea. Yeah. Wildflower 0 XP. If you check the announcement channel, I already wrote that the double rewards are coming in the next 2 weeks. Or April. Beginning of April. So I don't know much about COVID, but I can tell you that rewards are being activated in the next 2 weeks again. So let's say you have like a lot of oracles and you're requesting 2 of them randomly. Okay, we could also say like a, every app can choose the process itself. They can either have more security or less security, or have a minimum or like a maximum of time until they get the request, or how much nodes should be request. So based on that, but there still needs to be some randomizer, and that is also the technology that we're using. Like it's not something that we invented. It's basically the technology that also CK rollups and optimistic rollups are using in some form. It's like subsequential verification, and you have like a dispute system where a node can basically dispute uh, the claims of other nodes instead of having those heavy consensus algorithms where all the nodes need to verify each other. Um, no, Ridwan, we basically all of this is still like those those details are either minor, We're not concerned about which tokens you can stake. That's not something that has any big meaning in implementing the system. You can just choose the token that you want uh, 10 minutes before you're launching the oracles. Of course, we will probably use DEUS DEA to incentivize our users, and then also other currencies. And if we're approaching other protocols, we could also say, look, Synthetics, if you want to host nodes or if you want to incentivize your users, you could also host nodes with Synthetics or with stablecoins or anything. It's not that, like, in the end, it needs to be, you have to have a stake, and then the oracles need to ensure that their prices are right. And if they not have right prices, then their stake gets slashed. So in the end, we should have we should have stake that has some value. So maybe stable coins are the best, together with our coins, just to incentivize users, and then the protocol itself, like for example Synthetics. If they want to host nodes, they could use Synthetics. So yeah. Um, Anything we can do now if you want to? No. If you want to run a node later, there's nothing you can do now. At the moment when we're... Oh, I can, like... If you want... Yeah, I can contact you. And you can run a node next weekend. Or next week, if you want. Already. But there is nothing special about it until we really launch them. So yeah. And of course, like when we're launching the oracles, then we will launch them in a Docker, where you have like required firewall settings. You will have like virtual machines so that your host system cannot compromise the oracles, and it's all as an installer, so you don't need to do anything. Yeah. And then securing your stake on the Ethereum network, and that's it. So yeah, probably also Deox, Eric. Why did the recently shared DEUS app ask for the private key or seed phrase? Because there is a wallet integrated. Otherwise, how would you interact with the Ethereum blockchain without a wallet? But the private key and the seed are only stored on the device, so encrypted. But how would you use anything on Ethereum without, like, is your MetaMask not asking for your private key? How would you how should it work? How should we make an Ethereum? Yeah. It is basically not possible. Because it's an app, we cannot use MetaMask. If you want to use MetaMask, you have to use MetaMask. Then you cannot use the DEUS app. So yeah. Maybe we add this, right? There is nothing being said to how DEUS is distributed or how it started or what it actually is, other than it is the algorithmically backed stablecoin. So yeah, okay. I noted it down. So we can edit. Thanks, Mr. van Leusden. But we're actually using we didn't build the wallet itself. We're basically using a we're using something. I think it's this one. Yeah. So that guy he built all of this, and that's basically what we forked and used, and it just stores the private key on your device. So yeah, um, I would be in. Um, we also will change it so that you generate a new seed and then you can click it instead of typing it. Uh, but as I said, it's not secure. Your mobile device is probably not secure. Even if we are storing it, maybe someone sniffed your key tabs or anything, but screen is blocked still. But there is no other way. We will work on integrating also Ledger, so you could use your Ledger X. That would be secure. But there's always this um, people that maybe want to trade on the phone. They're not trading much anyway, probably. So yeah, for now, uh, this was the solution that was the fastest and easiest. But adding Ledger is definitely something that we're considering. Yeah. So let's get back to the node. So you're getting, hey Lafa, will you integrate wallet integration so you can connect your wallet with website just like Uniswap on mobile? Um, you mean, are you talking about the app? Because no, we cannot integrate MetaMask into the app. But you can already use MetaMask or Trust Wallet to connect to the DEUS website. It's already integrated. Ah, you mean that we could use the wallet to connect to other Web3 apps? Yeah, it's an idea. Okay. So let's say you're connecting to Oracle 1 and then you're also connecting to Oracle 4 and you're getting the price signed in 500 milliseconds, okay? And then the stakes of that oracles are basically locked, and they ensure that the price is correct. And now other oracles, so they all oracles are connected with like with gossip to gossip, and they communicate randomly and acyclically, like not cyclic. They are connecting to each other and telling everyone, so look, that oracle said that the price of Tesla is currently $672, and now all of the other nodes are also checking the sources, and if the price is really like this, they're basically all giving their go, and then the stake is unlocked again. And all of this will be free flowing, so while someone else is maybe connecting to that node to request a price, that node can ensure the price, and so it's working. Even if you, let's say you maybe only have a total value locked of 500,000, because you're unlocking and locking the stakes all the time, you can process a lot more trades than your total value locked is. And there is not, the limits are not reached because you're unlocking the stakes all the time again. Do all oracles sign off and deliver the feed, or will there be an aggregation of signatures through one oracle? Ah, no. It is random. Otherwise, it would be centralized if you have one oracle that is aggregating the signatures. I think Chainlink is doing that. Then you have one oracle. If you have one oracle that aggregates the signatures of all other oracles, then you basically have one oracle that is not really distributed and decentralized. You need to have multiple oracles, and they all have the same um, power, and their signature has the same power. But of course, basically, we don't trust any oracles, so you lock their stake, and if everything was correct, you unlock it again, and if anything was not correct, you keep it locked. Yes. So in our system, the person that actually is responsible for the damage, if there is damage done, is the oracle. Not like in other systems with Chainlink or anything, or any other project. If there is some form of damage done, it's always the. No, we don't have any infographics. We don't have any infographics yet. In other protocols, when there is some damage done, it's mostly always the user or the app that is taking the damage, not the ones who provide the infrastructure. So yeah. But we will work on those infographics for sure. But all of the information I'm giving to you is basically still not yet finished and not yet publicly. Uh, it's still like early thoughts. But we're working on the documentation, and it should be almost ready soon. I will use the video that we did today to also finalize it. I think should be ready in April for sure. And then we can also make some infographics. Yeah. 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 But the goal is also to get some highly respected industry partners on board to help us uh, distribute the technology in the crypto industry. So it will not be we will not do it like with DEUS. And yeah, because currently we're basically in vacation, so everyone and the goal is to when we're back next weekend, first thing we do is launch on Binance Chain. So we are having still a launch in March, and then we already prepared everything for Binance. So and then next thing is to activate the staking again, and then yeah, launching the oracles so that they will be used on DEUS. That's also the goal because they're also ready. Basically, already I shared the link so everyone. But I think that in the link that I shared is the connection to the HTTP request. Baphomet can organize a trading competition to have trading volume pick up. Yeah, actually, we're waiting with that trading competitions and everything until we have the leverage system ready. Because yeah. Yeah, okay, it is closed. Yeah, a trading competition. So it is also planned that when we have the leverage system to also introduce a referral system. So you're getting rewards when you're bringing people that get liquidated. And then we can also do some trading competitions and all of those things. Because currently with 1x leverage there is like trades are sometimes and take a lot of time and it's just with leverage it's other and it's another story. So yeah. We consider DEUS still in its like trial phase, version 1. Um, so it was only to show off what is possible with self-customized Oracle. Yeah, version 0.5 exactly. And only with the leverage engine and the funding rates it will be really suitable for a lot of traders. I actually think that the the marketing campaign that we started now, like it's not that we're waiting with the marketing because a lot of the people that we're marketing to are more interested or will be of course interested in testing the product and everything, but they're mostly investing into the future. So what they want is they want to invest before we getting out the leverage engine and the trading engine and everything. So Eric, everything you basically asked is about DEUS, okay? So maybe wait until we're ready to talk more about it. And I'm pretty sure it's also like like you know what algorithmically backed stablecoins are. You know like how empty set dollar was worked or is working or worked. They're probably dead. I don't know. So an algorithmically backed stablecoin is somehow like similar to what the Federal Reserve is doing with their expansions of supply and deductions of supply. So you have like a central authority that increases or decreases the supply based on the demand. And that's what an like you have basically you have three different yeah, you have three different ways of having a stablecoin. You have one thing is having like a central authority. Then you have like a decentral authority, but based on collateral. Here's for example DAI. Okay, here's for example Tether. And then for example, and then you have a decentralized, but uh, decentralized but non-collateralized. Okay, and that is basically something what is MTZ dollar. I would not even like Ampleforth. I would not even consider in that category because if you it doesn't work. Um, so and what we are trying to do is to have a cryptocurrency that is here between, okay, where um, you don't collateralize you don't over collateralize every dollar you have out there, but you're collateralizing somehow the debt or the liabilities, so people know, okay, if they're really because that's what you want. You want to have people like you want to have different actors, people that maybe hold, people that maybe sell, and what you then want is like on MTZ dollar you have the problem that if you would have a Libra, okay, let's say you have a Libra, and the one side is when the price is below $1, okay, and other side is when the price is above $1, okay. So the problem with MTZ dollar is that all of the action is basically going on when the price is above $1, and when the price is below $1, basically nothing. There is, it's dead. No one is interested. When it's above $1, you have APYs of 5,000%. Everyone is, damn, I'm getting rich. Everyone is buying in. And then when the price is dropping below $1, you have nothing. So what you actually need to do is uh, in a like when you're a businessman, what you should do is when you're above $1 is like when you're having a lot of income, you're having a lot of everything is good, you're making profits, life is perfect. What you should then do is save money for when you're below $1 again. So yeah, I actually have this idea from a friend, an economist. So yeah, saving money in the treasury for later when the price is again below $1. But this will not only be the only system, so we will not only save money for when it's below $1, but we will also enable a frame where there is nothing happening. Basically, there is no rebase or anything else, and you just have an open market of people trying to arbitrage all the time with a market maker. And the cool thing about this is that we have the Pythia Oracle system, which is basically live. So the price is live. So instead of having some form of time-weighted average or time-weighted anything where the price is always not really where it is, and then you have, for example, protocols like Float protocol, where they have like this reverse auction, where they're like, okay, they have a target price and they have a time-weighted average, and they're giving basically the like the people that arbitrage, they give them the opportunity to arbitrage it, and that's how they find the real price, by giving them the range. But you lose if you give that, if you give an arbitrage, if you give some third party a range of arbitrage opportunities, he will probably make more profit, and it's possible that the system is, um, of course, the guy who is arbitraging, he is mostly concerned about his own profit, even if your system is dying. Okay, so he made his profit, even if your system doesn't work. So I think having that wide range is potentially a risk. So what you actually need is having a live oracle, so that you're always exactly at the price. Of course, you're secured against flash loan attacks because the oracle is off-chain, and you can use the several of security mechanisms to prevent any price manipulation. Not like on-chain, because you have basically unlimited computational power. And then we could make an Oracle-based market maker stablecoin system like Frax or Float, but that is way more efficient because you have a live price. So these are all the things that are possible because we build our own Oracle. So there will be more and more to come. We are also now we are currently like the team that is building the Oracle with me. The team that is building the Oracle with me, now we are of course focused on making the double yield system ready, so that the questions about when the rewards are getting activated again, uh, because it has a high priority. But afterwards, we he, we will work on conceptualizing like bridges, okay? Because there are basically no trustless bridges, permissionless bridges that can work with any protocol. So that's also something that we could tackle on with the Oracle we have. So you could basically maybe use your Ethereum on every chain without even moving it. Those are some things that we're researching. And it's like having a real layer 0 solution, not like Polkadot, but a real layer 0 solution, is like something that I'm very interested in. Because of course Polkadot, it is a layer 0 solution, but only basically if you're using their programming language and using a parachain, and then you're connected with all other parachains, but you're not connected with all other Ethereum chains. So it's still his own ecosystem. And the real, like, that's why I would probably say, okay, Polkadot is maybe layer 0.5. Uh, but we are researching to have a bridge system that could work with any chain. Because you can have any computational system, and you could basically have a copy of every chain on the Oracle, or somehow write and read access to every chain. Yes. Okay, Buffelman, um, write me like, write the idea, like you think we should do it, and then we could maybe think about implementing it. But because it is like on chain, there will be a lot of things that we need to build around this. We would need to build a tracking system and system that tracks the profits and all of those things. So it will probably not be something that is fastly implemented. So yeah, if you want that we can do this, that we are doing this, write me a proposal, and then I could look how we could integrate it fast. Yeah, think about it a little bit. You know, I'm open to every suggestions, as long as they're like don't consume too much resources, depending on uh, the potential outcome. So yeah. Any plans to create Aave or Cream? You mean like lending or borrowing? So you could borrow or lend a stable coin with collateralizing a stock. Um, Not really. You saw all the things that we're currently working on are basically in the announcement channel. The thing is, for having a collateralized synthetic stock, you need to have a counterparty backing that stock immediately. So we would, in order to achieve stuff like that, we would if we if we want to do something like that, we would need to implement a system similar to Mirror, where you have a person directly minting the tokens and taking the position against him. And then the other person could use that stock to collateralize it somewhere. But not in the system where you have a system where everyone is collateralizing everyone, because then the people who are basically, as I said before, in DEUS version 1, the stocks, there will be a fee attached for holding the stock. So potentially, maybe if you're using a stock that is well balanced and has not a lot of funding, you could maybe collateralize it on another system where you pay less than that. Maybe. Yes. But as you can see, it's something in the far future, and uh, uh basically we have a similar system like that in the future. You you can buy more Tesla stocks that you have money like going leverage by paying more fees. So it's the same as lending, or you borrow it. And the lenders are basically people that maybe go short on Tesla or the vaults. So it is maybe already a system similar to Aave or Cream. But it will be way more efficient because of our oracles. But um, we didn't go into like too much into detail. We didn't go too much into detail yet with the lending and borrowing. Our focus is providing leverage, like 100x, 200x on stocks and 100x on crypto decentralized on top 100 cryptos. So it's basically like a Binance, a decentralized Binance. And then, and basically all of our power of thinking goes into creating that system where you have balanced system and everyone can trade everything, because that's the where we started. Maybe lending and borrowing from that point is easy to implement. Good. Okay. So what else? Who did test the Android app? Did we have some testers? Like optimistic rollups is like it's like a second chain, but they're using also a bridge system where everything that happens on the other chain is also uh, transacted to the mainnet. What do you mean, like how the leverage will work? As from a user perspective or from a protocol perspective? Uh, like it will basically work in the same way as Binance works. So you have volatility of something, you have long to short ratios, and based on that, you're calculating a fee that the person is paying. And if everything is balanced out, you're basically paying no fee. If everything is completely imbalanced, you're paying a lot of fee. And the fee you're paying, you pay to the person that takes the counter position. Levano, potentially yes, for the vaults, and balancer will also go to optimistic rollup, so we will also go to optimistic rollup for the vaults. Yeah, we could even we could research it more in April, May to go to optimistic rollup with the vaults. Yeah, also the DEUS market maker and DEUS swap completely so that you're not paying so much gas. Mit Romanos, was this enough? Did you understand it? So it's basically you have an incentivized system where longs pay shorts, or like imbalanced traders, like the traders that take the direction that is that everyone is taking, um, pay the other people that are not are taking the opposite. So yeah. Do you think BPT will be able to lend possibly? Yeah, you will be able to earn double rewards with your BPT. That's the whole idea. You will earn rewards. You you will basically be able to borrow Ethereum from the DEUS market maker and then earn on your own finance with it. Yes. Okay. Brainless. No, there is not. There is no option to stake without a lockup currently. Okay, that's it for today. See you guys. Until next time. I hope everyone that has no ledger is getting a ledger now. See you. Bye.